Here we have three ways of measuring out 25 milliliters of liquid. The 25 milliliter beaker, the 25 milliliter graduated cylinder, and the 25 milliliter volumetric pipette. The difference between these is the beaker will measure 25 milliliters, the graduated cylinder will measure to 25.0 milliliters, and the volumetric pipette will measure to 25.00 milliliters. So the difference here is the beaker only gives us 2 significant figures, the graduated cylinder gives us 3 significant figures, and the volumetric pipette will give us 4 significant figures. So to get the most accurate and precise reading possible, we'll be learning how to use the volumetric pipette correctly today. The first thing when getting your volumetric pipette is to clean it with water, because you do not know what contaminants are on the inside. When you are using your volumetric pipette, always make sure to have one hand secure on the volumetric pipette and the other hand secure on the bulb. Do not assume that the bulb is going to be holding the volumetric pipette. These are only supposed to be gently fit in with one another. They will not hold. If you just try holding the volumetric pipette with only the bulb, the bottom part will drop out and it will break. So please make sure that you always have one hand secure on the pipette itself. So when you're cleaning this out, the first thing you want to do is just squeeze the bulb and then suck up some water. And you only have to get about half filled here. And once you're satisfied with that, you can just hold it over a waste beaker and then just swirl it around to make sure that the water contacts all the insides, and then just let it slowly drain out and keep spinning it just to make sure that all the inside surfaces have been thoroughly washed. And once you're done with that, just let the water drain out and just let it do it naturally. And you may do this 1, 2, 3 times, however many times it takes you to be satisfied that the inside is actually clean. This particular one is actually pretty nice and clean here, so we don't need to do much more with that. Alright, you may notice that there's a little liquid. It's okay to blow this stuff out now because we don't want this diluting our next sample. Now after you've rinsed your pipette with water, you also want to rinse it with the solution that you're going to be using to avoid any dilution of the solution from residual water left in the pipette. So you only have to, again, fill this up about halfway. So right there is about good. We want to try minimizing the waste that we actually have. And then at this point, again, this is going to be over your waste beaker. Just swirl this around so this way it kind of coats the interior surfaces and any water that was in there gets rinsed away. And once you're happy with that, just let it drain into your waste container. Now, once all that is done, we're ready to get our solution. All right, now that we've rinsed it, we're ready to fill it up. And what we notice is that there is a line right about here, and this is the line that we want to fill up to. So we want the bottom of the meniscus to match up to where this line actually is. So again, making sure you have one hand secured on your pipette, press out your bulb, and then start sucking your liquid. This may take 2 or 3 times, depending upon how successful you are. So that time, I didn't get it quite filled. So again, I just hold it over here with my index finger. And then I just press the bulb again, and then suck up some more liquid. All right. So you'll notice that right here is where my line actually is. And what we want to do is get it from up here down to my line. So you simply just hold this over your waste container, and from your finger up here, just slightly release it, not all the way, but you just want it loose enough so then some air can get in and your liquid starts draining down. And you just let it drip down until you're able to see where it matches up. So the meniscus is matching up with the line right now. And as you can see, right there, the line and the meniscus are all lined up. So now we simply just hold it over our vessel and just let it drain. And this may take about a minute for it to fully drain here. Okay, now when it's fully drained, you'll notice that there's a little bit of liquid in there. Now, what's actually going to happen is, as I'm standing here, you'll probably start noticing a little bit of a drop forming on the outside. That's because the liquid that's actually like adhering to the outside of the glass is actually draining down here and is actually going to start putting this liquid out. So you want to wait about 30 seconds for that additional liquid to come out. And actually here you can see the drop which is starting to emerge. So obviously you won't always have this over your container, not in front of the camera, but then just let it drip out. And then when that final drop actually comes, just touch it to the side of your container and just let it fall in. All right. Now at this point, you'll notice that there's still a little bit of liquid left in there. We don't want to go and blow that out, even though you're going to be very, very tempted to. The reason is that these pipettes are designed to deliver, meaning that they're designed to leave that little bit of liquid left in there and not have it being blown out. So even though it's very tempting, please make sure that you do not blow that out and put it into there, because right now this contains 25.00 milliliters of liquid. If you add that little bit extra, it's going to be over, and we simply just don't know how much it will be by. So then at the end of the day, when you are done with this, make sure that you rinse it out with water, and that's the same procedure that we started with. So again, you will just go there, suck up the DI water, make sure you hold it over your waste container and spin it around a little bit, and then just let it drain. So this way it washes out and is nice and clean for the next person. Okay? And that is how we use our volumetric pipettes.